A quiet but game-changing shift is underway in the Horn of Africa. As of January 2026, the UAE now accepts passports from Somaliland, a self-declared republic that broke from Somalia over 30 years ago, while banning new visas for Somali passport holders. This move, made without fanfare, signals a de facto recognition of Somaliland's sovereignty, even as the world still backs a unified Somalia. The UAE's decision follows years of investment in Somaliland's Berbera port, favoring stability in Hargeisa over the turmoil in Mogadishu. For Somaliland, it's a breakthrough in its quest for recognition. For Somalia, a diplomatic setback. The UAE is leveraging visa policy as a strategic tool, challenging old alliances and reshaping the region's political landscape. This administrative change could be the first tremor of a much larger geopolitical shift in the Horn of Africa. To grasp the UAE's move, rewind to 1991, when Somaliland declared independence as Somalia collapsed into civil war. For over 3 decades, Somaliland has built its own government, currency, and military, holding peaceful elections and maintaining stability. Yet, the world refuses to recognize it, fearing a precedent for secession across Africa. The African Union's charter prioritizes existing borders, leaving Somaliland in diplomatic limbo, functioning as a state, but locked out of global institutions. The UAE and Israel's recent actions crack this wall of non-recognition, signaling that Somaliland's stability can't be ignored. By engaging directly with Hargeisa, these nations are betting on Somaliland as a key regional partner, regardless of its formal status. The world is being challenged to reconcile its policies with the reality on the ground. The UAE's new visa policy is a masterstroke of quiet diplomacy. By adding Somaliland to its e-visa portal, the UAE grants legitimacy to Somaliland's passport, opening doors for its citizens. Simultaneously, the ban on Somali visas signals frustration with Mogadishu's instability. This dual approach rewards Somaliland's stability and penalizes Somalia's dysfunction, all while maintaining plausible deniability. Officially, the UAE claims it's an administrative update, but actions speak louder than words. The move allows the UAE to deepen ties with Hargeisa without sparking a diplomatic crisis. As a major regional power, the UAE's decision carries weight, creating a new reality where Somaliland has a powerful patron. The UAE is quietly redrawing the Horn of Africa's political map to suit its strategic interests. The UAE's policy shift followed a diplomatic earthquake, Israel's formal recognition of Somaliland in late 2025. This unprecedented move broke the global consensus, sparking outrage at the UN and condemnation from Turkey and the African Union. The UAE notably abstained from joining the Arab Islamic condemnation, signaling a quiet alignment with Israel's strategy. The Abraham Accords have brought the UAE and Israel closer, and now their shared interests extend to the Horn of Africa. Both seek to counter Iranian influence and secure maritime trade, making Somaliland a valuable ally. Their combined support forms a new power bloc, pressuring the international community to reconsider Somaliland's status. Israel's formal recognition and the UAE's de facto approach create a pincer movement, challenging the old order. The future of the Horn of Africa is now being shaped by pragmatic, strategic alliances. At the heart of the UAE's interest is Berbera Port, a gateway to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, one of the world's most vital shipping lanes. The UAE, through DP World, is transforming Berbera into a major deep-sea port, linking it to Ethiopia and shifting regional trade dynamics. This investment secures the UAE's economic and security interests, giving Ethiopia an alternative to Djibouti and boosting Somaliland's importance. The UAE has also established a military base near Berbera, projecting power and countering rivals like Turkey and Iran. Control over Berbera is about more than trade, it's about dominating Red Sea security. The UAE's partnership with Somaliland ensures its investments are protected and its strategic goals met. The new visa policy cements this alliance, integrating Somaliland into the UAE's sphere of influence. Not everyone welcomes Somaliland's rising profile. Turkey, a major backer of Somalia, sees Israel's recognition and the UAE's pivot as direct threats to its influence. Turkey has invested heavily in Somalia, training its army and building its largest overseas base in Mogadishu. The African Union, too, remains committed to Somalia's territorial integrity, fearing a wave of secessionist movements if Somaliland is recognized. Yet cracks are appearing. Some AU members, like Ethiopia, are quietly engaging with Somaliland for economic reasons. The UAE and Israel's moves are forcing the AU to confront the reality of Somaliland's stability versus Somalia's ongoing turmoil. The United Front is weakening and the pressure to re-evaluate Somaliland's status is mounting. The diplomatic landscape is shifting and old certainties are fading. Somaliland's path to recognition may be paved by economics, not diplomacy. The UAE's visa policy opens its labor market to Somalilanders, boosting remittances and business ties. The Berbera Port project is transforming the region, offering Ethiopia a vital new trade route and reducing its reliance on Djibouti. This economic integration gives Ethiopia a stake in Somaliland's success, bypassing Mogadishu's authority. Direct investment from the UAE and Ethiopia proves Somaliland can attract capital and build infrastructure independently. Economic success strengthens Somaliland's case for independence, showing it's a viable, self-sustaining entity. The rise of Berbera challenges Djibouti's dominance and rebalances regional power. In the Horn of Africa, economics is now a tool for reshaping alliances and projecting influence. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads with several futures in play. One scenario, creeping recognition of Somaliland, as more countries quietly upgrade ties without formal declarations. Somaliland could become a Taiwan of Africa, unrecognized by most, but treated as a de facto state. Another scenario, Israel and the UAE's support triggers a domino effect, leading to formal recognition by major powers and UN membership. For Somalia, the risk is further isolation and fragmentation as international support wanes. In a best-case scenario, Mogadishu and Hargeisa might negotiate a peaceful separation, creating two stable states. Decades of mistrust make this difficult, but the shifting geopolitical landscape may leave Somalia little choice. The region's future will be shaped by how the world responds to Somaliland's growing influence. The UAE's visa policy and Somaliland's rise have global implications. The post-Cold War consensus on borders is being challenged by new pragmatism. Stability and strategic value are starting to outweigh old diplomatic principles. The Red Sea is now a battleground for influence, with the UAE, Turkey, Iran, and others vying for control of key ports. Somaliland's fate is central to this contest, with Berbera Port becoming a strategic prize. The UAE-Israel partnership in the region is a product of the Abraham Accords, redrawing alliances and bypassing old divides. This story is about the limits of international law, the rise of assertive middle powers, and the enduring importance of geography and trade. Somaliland, long ignored, is now impossible to overlook as new powers rewrite the rules. The Horn of Africa's quiet revolution is a warning. In a changing world, even small shifts can have global consequences. But what does all this mean for the people on the ground? For Somaliland's local businesses, the UAE's policy shift is more than just a headline, it's a turning point. In Hargeisa's bustling markets and along the Berbera port, the new wave of investment has brought both excitement and uncertainty. Small business owners are seeing new customers, bigger opportunities, and access to goods they could only dream of a decade ago. The construction of new roads, warehouses, and logistics hubs, funded by Emirati capital, has sparked a mini-economic boom. But not everyone is celebrating. Some worry that rapid change could push out local entrepreneurs as big foreign companies move in. Others fear rising prices and a widening gap between those who benefit and those left behind. Still, for many, the UAE's engagement is a lifeline. It's a chance for Somaliland's homegrown businesses, long isolated from global markets, to finally step onto the world stage. The success or failure of this new partnership will be measured not just in trade figures, but in the lives and livelihoods of everyday Somalilanders. The story of the Horn of Africa isn't just about geopolitics. It's about local dreams, risks, and resilience, tested and transformed by the shifting tides of global ambition. As news of Somaliland's recognition reverberates beyond the Horn of Africa, the world's capitals are abuzz with debate and calculation. In Washington and Brussels, policymakers weigh the implications for international law and the precedent it might set for other aspiring states. Some Western nations cautiously welcome the move, seeing opportunities for stability and new trade corridors in a region long marked by volatility. Others, however, worry about the message it sends to separatist movements elsewhere. Across the African continent, reactions are mixed. Some governments express concern, fearing a domino effect that could embolden secessionist groups within their own borders. For the African Union, the challenge is clear: uphold the sanctity of existing borders or adapt to new realities on the ground. In Beijing and Moscow, the focus is pragmatic. Both powers eye new avenues for influence and investment. China, in particular, is closely watching the UAE's playbook, considering how its own Belt and Road ambitions might align or clash with Somaliland's newfound status. Meanwhile, humanitarian groups and international NGOs urge caution and responsibility. They highlight the need for inclusive growth, protection of minority rights, and sustainable development, reminding the world that recognition is only the beginning of a much longer journey. Somaliland's new chapter is not just a local or regional story. It's a test case for how the international community responds when history, ambition, and realpolitik collide on the world stage. As the dust settles on Somaliland's recognition and the shifting alliances it has sparked, the Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads. The next chapter is unwritten, filled with both promise and uncertainty. For Somaliland, international recognition unlocks new possibilities for development, investment, and global engagement, but it also brings challenges: the need to build robust institutions, ensure security, and foster inclusive growth that benefits all its people. In neighboring Somalia, the sense of loss may fuel political recalculations or even renewed tension, underscoring the delicacy of regional stability. The UAE's bold move has redefined the playbook for external actors in the Red Sea corridor. Other powers, both regional and global, are likely to recalibrate their strategies, seeking to secure their own interests in a region that has become a vital link between Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. For the African Union and the continent at large, the precedent set here could shape responses to other autonomy movements, prompting a re-examination of long-held principles about borders and sovereignty. Ultimately, the Horn of Africa's future will depend on the choices made by its leaders and people, and the willingness of the international community to support peace, prosperity, and cooperation. In this new era, every decision carries weight, not just for this corner of Africa, but for the world.